Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Thomas's Reading Room number 2, where we're doing Through the Eyes, 2-year travel adventure story through America. That's me, Susan, and the car is Howard, the character. We're going to start here. I think this is video number 11, and we're starting with February 25th, so let's get right on with it, okay? Tuesday. The sun's rays penetrate the window and Susan is fast asleep as I step outside Howard. The sun shines, provides warmth, and there is a gentle breeze that makes for a perfect day. I entertain thoughts the weather here is going to be okay. However, this is not so. Contrary, we did not experience another day like this in the time we remained here. I sit on the driver's seat, put sandals on, and allow reality to sink into the field of the mind. Without a doubt, the area is beautiful, and that beauty that knows no thought is present. I begin to walk and observe the area. It is on the side of a hill that extends into a larger hill. The only part of the area that seems level is the road and a parking area at one end. There is no pavement anywhere, and I would not have it any other way. Down a hill, approximately 50 feet from the parking area, is a good-sized stream. It comes from the White Mountains and winds its way around the lower camp area. The water is cold and clear. As I walk, I observe trash containers spread out over the area alongside the road. At 3 locations, strategically placed, are compost toilets in obvious need of maintenance. The road we came in on leads around the top part of the campsite area to a large parking area, then leads around the lower part of the campsite area and joins the main road, completing a circle. A few campsites are located on the other side of the road. These campsites have a picnic table, fire pit, and each campsite is anything other than level, except for one. I observe a short drive that leads into it. There are some bushes and 2 small trees that provide some privacy between the road and the campsite. Across the road from the campsite is a massive straw and a metal fence corral, with the exception of the White Mountains, the area is secluded. I walk back to Howard and Susan, where I observe she is still fast asleep. I sit in Howard, start the engine, and drive to the campsite that is somewhat level. I park Howard on the drive and turn off the engine. Susan wakes and after a few minutes becomes somewhat coherent. I tell her it is the best campsite in the area and we are the only ones here at the moment. Susan and I get out of Howard and I proceed to set up. We walk back and forth across the road and carry straw to an area where we make a soft, level base to pitch the tent. We pitch the tent, then unload equipment off the roof and out of Howard. Howard and I leave for Tularosa as Susan stays to put things in order. I drive down the dirt road, cross the stream, then approach pavement where I turn right and drive into another campground. The campsites have roofs over the tables, there are virtually no trees, and the land is flat. I begin to look for water. I find a water faucet that gives no water and a locked pump house. There is a trailer house here, though no vehicles of any kind, and no one inside or outside the trailer. It seems as though this area is not open or maybe only on the weekends. I drive out and turn onto the pavement. I cross the railroad tracks, observe a house off to the right and a lady shoveling something near a pickup truck. Next to the house is a bar and Highway 54 is in front of it. I turn left onto 54 and drive to Tularosa. I entertain thoughts of Billy the Kid. Perhaps he has spent some time here. I drive to various locations, purchase food, a bottle of propane, unleaded gas for the lantern and stove, and regular gas for Howard. I observe this self-search everywhere, imagining Billy may have been over here or over there or over behind that building in that alley. Did they have alleys then? For some reason, I observe this self being overcome by the presence of history. I ponder the thoughts, does it have anything to do with me being left-handed? I drive back, turn right before the bar. Then I realize I forgot the water. I quickly turn into the drive of the house where I had observed the woman earlier. I get out of Howard and walk toward the woman, who turns and walks toward me. I introduce myself, explain that I am in need of water, and ask if I could get some from here. She says yes, and walks to the side of the house as I walk to Howard. Get the 2 5-gallon containers and take them to where she stands. She turns the faucet on and using the hose begins to fill the containers. She says, on weekends a lot of people go up there to camp. There were a lot of people last weekend. Where do you get the water? It comes from over the mountains. They pipe it into here. She goes on to say she has been living here for about a year and loves it. She has 2 girls and an old man who works somewhere around here. I thank her for the water, carry the containers back and set them in Howard. I get in, start the engine, and wave to the woman as I drive off. I arrive at camp and Susan and I greet each other. She seems glad to see me and I'm happy that she is as I had left her. No one is here other than us. Later, Susan prepares dinner. We enjoy instant potatoes, cut green beans, bread, and hot tea. After dinner, I attach the propane bottle to the water heater, put a plastic transparent hose into a container of water, and pump water into the heater. I open the propane and push the igniter that lights the heater. I pump water through the heater slowly, and hot water pours out of a spout and into a plastic tub. Presto! We have hot water, and that quick. I turn the propane off as I have enough hot water, then I pour a small amount of cold water in with it, and Susan cleans the dishes. The sun descends over the mountains, and evening is present. We sit at the table, put thought away for the day, clear out the minds, then retire to the tent and conclude the day. I will awake to a new day with a fresh, clear, silent mind. February 26th on Wednesday, awaking, listening to the sounds of strong wind coming down from the mountains. The morning is windy and cold. The wind blows so hard it causes rope at the front of the tent to snap. The front pole comes out and the front of the tent collapses. Susan and I get out of bed, go outside, and proceed to correct the problem. We observe that the grommet, where the top end of the pole fits into, has become torn out of the material. Using a razor, I create a slit in the material close to where the grommet was. Then I insert the tip of the pole into the hole and raise the front part of the tent. Seems like it will hold for the time being. After Susan prepares breakfast and we finish, we go for a walk. We follow the road, then walk up a hill and enjoy a view of a valley. Without any thought in the field of the mind, I observe that indescribable beauty present itself. We walk down the hill toward the stream and back to the campsite. Susan prepares dinner, and afterward we sit in Howard to write. The night is present and the air is seemingly cold. We finish writing and retire to the tent where we conclude the day. I will die to the day, the yesterdays, and awake to a new day. February 27th, on Thursday, Susan and I are asleep for a short period when we are awakened by a wind that puts the tent through all kinds of contortions. After we give thought to what we are experiencing, Susan and I take the sleeping bags and pillow out of the tent, put the tent down, and move to Howard for a night. Later, I awake and find this self uncomfortable. I observe the wind subside and the night seems calm. I take the sleeping bag and pillow, go over to the tent, pitch it, crawl inside, and go to sleep. A short period later, I awake and observe Susan crawl into the tent with a sleeping bag and pillow in hand. Smiling, I say, "Hi, monkey." She says nothing and smiles. She just wants to be with a friend, partner, whatever, and that is okay with me. Awaking later, I observe the sun. I dress, crawl out of the tent, and observe the wind is not too strong, though the air is seemingly cold, especially in the shade. Susan awakes and crawls out of the tent, then we wash and she prepares breakfast. After breakfast, I drive us down the road to the house by the bar where I ask the woman what time the mailman comes by. She tells me that the mailman usually arrives around 10 or 10:30 a.m. I thank her, then drive over beside the bar across the road from the mailboxes. Susan and I wait a short period. Later on, an elderly man drives a pickup to the mailboxes and stops. I walk over to him, introduce himself, and inquire about general delivery. He reports there is only one post office in Tularosa and it accepts general delivery. I write the address, he gives me in the letters we are mailing, then I seal the envelopes and hand them to him. He reports that he will keep an eye open for mail coming in. I thank him and bid a good day. I walk back to Howard, get in, and drive us back to the campsite. Once back at the campsite, we go for a walk, write, and enjoy much of the day, either in the company of Howard or the tent, as the day remains cold. Later, Susan prepares dinner. We enjoy soup, no meat, and a sandwich with hot tea. After Susan cleans the dishes, we move back to Howard, talk on thought, and Susan takes notes. Then we retire to the tent and conclude the day. I will give love of this self to the day, the yesterdays, and awake to a new day with a clear, silent mind, absent of any thought. February 28th, Friday, the last day of the month. Awake late, dress, crawl out of the tent, and I observe the effects of a cold day, though the sun is present. Susan prepares breakfast. We enjoy cracking good cereal, toast, and hot tea. Then we wash dishes and go for a walk. We return to the campsite, and I load Howard with the 2 5-gallon containers. I drive to the parking area, take the containers to the stream, and fill them. Then I carry them back to Howard and drive to the campsite. In the meantime, Susan washes some clothes, hangs them out to dry on the branch of a tree, then begins to cook some beans. I unload the water containers, then we move to Howard and Wright. Dinner is soon ready. We enjoy not-so-cooked beans with potatoes and corn, then we conclude the day. I would die to the day, the yesterdays, release itself of thought, and awake to a new day with a clear, silent mind. That will be the video for right now. That takes us up to March 1st, and stick around because we're doing the next video here right away, March 1st, Saturday 1st. Thank you, and look for the next video here.